Let's do the introductions here. We have a very formidable Terran player. He's in the red color and he is shining bright right now once again from the Dragon Phoenix Gamers. It's Cure. Bottom left side, a blue Protoss hailing from the team Alpha X. It is Zoun. Right. As you may have heard, I've transitioned officially from Zoun to Zoun. Oh, is this going to be good? I would hope so. Anyway, I think it's important to listen to the Koreans, you know, especially in the GSL, how they're pronouncing it, and then just kind of try to copy it in the best way I can. Is there any commentator? There should be. I mean, that is me. Not sure if I'm fully commentating just quite yet. I'm just kind of talking about the names, but well, I am here. I am here. A little pro-B nonsense. Nothing too bad. Doesn't delay the barracks or anything. Doesn't really poke the mineral fields all too much. Just kind of having a good time figuring out what's happening in the base of Cure here. Now, Zoun, on the other hand, is well, getting a fairly safe expansion, right? With the gateway and the cyber. Beforehand, should be completely fine against any type of Reaper, which is coming across the map, so we'll have that Adept finishing up momentarily. He's already building a shield battery as well in the main base right now. Might be a bit frightful of the potential harassment of Cure. Guess with the shield battery finished up, he is free to move that adapter away as well. There we go. Shield battery strikes gold once again. Little hiccup. Alright, so now the Adept, it's his turn to be a nuisance. It's his turn to be an absolute pest in the mineral fields of Cure. So far, this mineral field a little bit empty. It's the one SCV hiding up top, of course, but not much else to be achieved right now over here. Reaper does have a fully exposed mineral field here, though. Probes, okay. Nicely timed with the Stalker. Once again, keeping everything safe. So I'm going for the Blink upgrade with this, as we have a triple Rex play of Cure. Going to be quite a micro battle here for Zoun. And I have to try and stay alive, especially with that concussive shell hanging around. A quick stim of a lot of bio on top of those gateway units could be quite a challenge to deal with. Let's have a shield battery at the front door coming up as well as in this main base, of course. And starting the Robo. Probably won't have any Robo units ready just quite yet, as this attack is coming in quite early on. Doesn't even have Stim Pack yet, just with the concussive shell is going to try to, well, get whatever gateway units he can. Those gateway units, they are quite expensive. It's not like a Marine that's only 50 minerals. They do tend to cost quite a bit more. As the shield battery overcharge is completed, could be pretty good, as the Marauder is targeted down rather quickly. Now these Stalkers are quite free to start chasing these Marines. Not quite sure if that all worked out as Cure had envisioned it. Probably not. Probably not. That shield battery coming in at the perfect moment, of course, as you know what, Zoun getting that Marauder quite nicely sniped out as well. Does help out quite a bit. The Marauder is supposed to pin down each individual Stalker, and then the Marines are allowed to all target fire it before it gets away. If you get like one, maybe two Stalkers, right, without too much hassle, things can snowball very quickly. Right now we may have a little bit of an attempt. Trying to break the bunker, not going to happen here with the quick repair of Cure. Behind this, Zoun taking his third base as well as the robotics bay. Coming up shortly afterwards as well. We'll have to see what kind of unit he wants to be building here, whether it be straight into Colossi or he wants to go straight into the Disruptors. Just kind of eyeing up that production tab right now, waiting for it. Okay, there we go. Extended thermal lance and charge being researched. As Cure still no third base, so this attack of his, it's gonna have to do something here, I would say. Doesn't have any siege tank or well, any widow mines, nothing of the sorts factory unit wise. Just a lot of marines with a couple of medevacs right there. One medevac already pretty low. As Zoun is trying to get some micro going here in order to stop this attack from coming in full force. So far, it hasn't been fully successful just quite yet, I want to say. Here and there, some nice pokes. There we go. Again, but only one marine goes down there, it seems, so not such an enormous amount just quite yet. But with the Colossi now on the field, Cure may not even want to try and push into this. Right. I feel like the third base of Cure was a little bit slow. And he hasn't traded all that efficiently either. So, I mean, Zoun is in a pretty alright spot here, I would say. But the army of Cure, it hasn't died. It didn't push into that Colossus. It didn't do anything just quite yet. It's still alive. It's giving Zoun more time to prepare for it. But it's still here. And it could still pack a mean punch. Especially if the Stalkers are too spread out. Potentially some drop play could make this very interesting as well, of course. Alright. Forces the siege tank to siege up and then gets himself out of that sticky situation. The Marauders and Marines quite grouped up there. Not a lot of splitting going on, taking a lot of damage from those Colossi, but still getting an alright amount of Stalkers as well. As we can see, the trading has been a bit more equal at that moment in time. Now we have 3 Colossi though. That's a lot more firepower coming out. I think spreading out those Marauders and stuff, forcing Zoun to target fire the Colossi could be a good way to still make something happen here. I suppose Cure just kind of satisfied sitting in front, trying to force out a proper fight in his favor. As he slowly, encroaches upon this space with the siege tank range. Trying to claim this area. Behind this, he has been quite good at getting all his SCVs in the third. Couple of Archons on top there right now. One Immortal in the main base. Could be valuable asset to try and get on top of those siege tanks right there. Kind of on the same angle. This is quite a scary moment in a way. Waiting to see what these guys will be getting themselves into as the fight now unravels. It looks like Zoun no longer wants to be pinned down in between his main and his natural, his natural and his third. These Colossi don't really seem to be having a lot of life left, and just Stalkers here. I don't think that's gonna cut it necessarily. More Zealots are coming in though. The Immortal is still there as well. It does an enormous amount of damage against those Marauders, but it falls quite quickly against this rapid fire from the Marines and the Vikings on the ground now as well. More bio comes in. The Zealots is final wave perhaps here. Trying to buy himself some more time. Is he getting anything out soon? No Colossi on that production tab. No. Nothing really out of the Robo entirely. Just relying on the gateway reinforcements right now. Does have that static defense here, of course. Gets the siege tank. That's a good one. As with these 3 Archons, it does appear Kjør kind of rethinking his efforts. But he's been trading pretty well, so it may just be a case of where Kjør's just gonna keep pushing into this area until Zoun just capitulates, right? He's not sitting idly by though. Won't let Kjør have a 4th base for free. Sending in some zealots right there. We'll see if Kjør is gonna bother with a response against that. Does look like he's bringing some troops back in order to try and deal with this, perhaps. No, is he still focusing on the front? Trying to see. Maybe he wasn't aware. Alright, that does seem dealt with. 8 SCVs go down. As we move forwards, the Starks on top of the siege tank do manage to get it killed off once again. The siege tank the big threat here, especially against those Starkers. It's really what can force you to engage into that massive arc of the Terran, right? Because of that continuous shelling of the siege tanks just coming in. We do have some tack switches coming up here out of Kjør. Zoun just still committed with the Colossi, it seems, and getting himself the +2/+2. It's around the same time as his opponent, so both are going to get that fairly closely together. Yeah, Kjør now does have the ghosts on the field, and looking at the army of Zoun, it is considered quite a bit of shields packing on those Archons, so we'll have to be careful that those Archons don't just get EMP to death. And 1 marine shot just kills them after that. Very expensive units after all. Now I do believe his observers are pretty much the army composition here, and I'm a bit surprised that he's gonna try to move out. Maybe he's just trying to get a better angle. He does have a warping pylon on the top side as well. A couple of zealots ready for trying to batter up some SCVs over here. There is a bunker available, so that's a proper defensive angle for Kjør. Shouldn't struggle too much with keeping that safe, right? You can just bring the SCVs on top of the bunker right away as soon as you get that message that you're under attack. War Prism in the main as well. He's trying to go with right now. As Kjør still producing some Vikings. Seeing more and more Ghost on that. Disruptor shield. Production tab right there. More and more Ghosts coming in. That's rough. Couple of missile turrets here. May put a timer on the plan of Zoun to come in with the War Prism. Just managed to get a pretty alright moment here before the... Whoa! No, that is gone. That is entirely gone. The Zealots on the top side also kind of coming in at the same time and only killing 7 SCVs. So far, this aggressive play from Zoun really not doing what he probably wants it to be doing. Luckily, he's only investing the Zealots. He hasn't lost any of his high tier units in that engagement either. Still has his Disruptors, his Colossi, Archons. How many Archons did he make now? Okay, we're up to 7. We are up to 7. It's a 5 base versus 4 base, but Kjør doesn't seem to be struggling all too much just quite yet. Just kind of expanding at a slower pace. But he has been more efficient now in the trade, so it's alright. It's alright. Moving a command center across right now. A couple of zealots lying in wait there, of course. Kjør aware that this might be a likely scenario. brings plenty of troops to deal with this. I guess they are just zealots, but that is still a pretty reasonable amount of minerals that you lose in those situations. Oh my god! I never thought that was gonna get off. Dear baby Jesus. Okay, well, now we are in a weird situation here. You're very quickly losing a big portion of his army. Zoun finds an angle for the rest of his forces to just immediately jump on it. As well, straight afterwards. Won't be going forwards with a push, though. It seems there is still a considerable amount of strength in the top side as well. Zoun imagining probably correctly that if he were to push on this planetary fortress right here, most likely the army of Kjør would just initiate a base trade-like situation, and it's hard to get out on top with something like that, of course. Alright, disruptor shots. Let's see if it's going to be a bit better for Kjør this time around. Well, it's a bit better. Still losing a couple of marauders here and there. Zoun may not have enough, though, with the planetary fortress there, as well as the repairing SCVs. Quite difficult to make something work. Is he just building 2 planet? Oh, no, that's this. That's our orbitals, Kozan. That's alright. So yeah, Kjør hoping to find an opening onto this nexus that he's just uncovered with the scan. Seeing this army of the Protoss on the top side, looks like it may not be enough to really break that. The DTs, okay, do escape that scenario there as well. Haven't really found a planetary fortress for them to pick off just quite yet. Maybe this one will be the one. There we go. We got a nuke coming in as well. Disruptor shots. All right, some infrastructure. Just some cannons. Oh, Zoun coming in with a big wave into this area right here, in between all of the bases of Kjør. There's not an enormous amount of terrain here ready to deal with it. Still a large portion of the army on the top side, but there's hardly any gateway meat on the bones of this army anymore. There's no war prism in the area either to help reinforce, so he's going to have to kind of re-angle, reposition, and he might be able to get this planetary now. DTs, we were saying this might be the planetary that they will be able to get, and there it does go. Well, that looks like it must have heard. Zoun, okay, does target down the planetary and manages to grab a hold of it. Another nuke goes off. Where the hell? Oh, there it is. Whee! That's the noise of the nukes, guys. It makes a little whee, like a child would. I guess he gets the DT, right? Let's see the DT death. Nukes are pretty cool. Stepping up the defense here, but yeah, it's just no chance anymore. GG is called. Zoun demolishing Kjør slowly but surely, finding his way in between the cracks of the armor, and there we go. There we go. Both going for the expansions. As well, there will be a Reaper scout. The Reaper might be able to catch this probe here. No, never mind. It got away. It got away. They know it so well, don't they? Those pro players. They know the game so well. It's crazy. How do they do it? It's like their life is depending on it. Or at least their career as a pro gamer. That's odd. There we go. Reaper arrives. That is the Adept. Kind of wondering if we'll see the quick shield battery again. Is someone doubted as we're having that Stargate coming in? Maybe Zoun going to be more committed to try and stop this Reaper from getting a good scout off. Because it's a lot more advantageous to have a hidden Stargate, right? And then suddenly an Oracle shows up. Than it is for a Twilight Council and then suddenly a a couple of Blink Stalkers show up, right? Just get blocked off this way around. Not even attempting the Reaper nade trick over the wall. You're not wasting his time with these types of trivial things. He doesn't need your micro trickery. He's got a good solid case of the macros, and that is most likely what we'll be seeing here. Getting himself some Widow Mines for the medevac. Does somewhat feel in a way that Cure is trying to just play it as regular as possible right now. Maybe that is limiting him a little bit. Limiting. Yeah, that's the word. Why does it not sound like a word to me anymore? I don't know. Must have said it too many times. Like twice there in a row. But anyway. We don't have any oracles coming in. He is bulking up a couple of Phoenix in. I'd say that is quite a formidable ploy as well. Don't even show the Phoenix. Please don't show the Phoenix. Alright, yeah, just wait for any type of aggression to come in. It is just a matter of time, right, for any Terran to send in a medevac with a couple of Hellions or Widow Mines. We all know it's gonna happen. We all know how strong it is, so, you know, it's a game of whether or not you get that damage in, and oh boy, there go the Phoenix. And that is the worst time. Oh, no. Wait, he's waiting. He's waiting to see whether or not those Phoenix show up again, I suppose. What's he doing? What's he doing? Alright, there he goes. Mineral field, is it open? Is it open? It is. Probes see it though. We'll be able to evacuate quite quickly. Only one probe dies. Well, make that 2. He's retargeting pretty nicely. Keeping it there for a little bit longer. Phoenix do find the medevac. Let's get taken out right here. We are seeing the base of Cure now filled up with 3 barracks, a starport and a factory. Again, no third base just quite yet. Doesn't seem like he is, you know, it's not really his style anyway, right? When I do think about Cure, he is still one of these Terrans that just like to do the 2-base push against the Protoss. Good old, regular, solid stuff from Cure. Two medevac worth of Marines are coming in here. It's not that much of gateway forces, nor any static defense, of course, available, but Cure not going to try to jump on that moment right there. We'll just kind of back out. I don't know, was there a possibility? I guess he didn't have stim pack yet, right? So that, yeah, that's a good call not to just jump in right on top of all of that. With stim, I'd say go for it. Without, it's a tough call to make. Because you know you're gonna have, like, that also changes the kind of ideas in your head as well, right? If you know stim is coming in pretty shortly, you may just throw away a very valuable bit of army just before you get an upgrade, which just makes them infinitely better. Alright, nice little flanking army positioning here from Zoun. It's going to be very difficult for Cure to kind of bum rush one area here. Sometimes what you've seen in the past, right, where the Protoss, they make the mistake to have all their army up on one of these ramps, and then the Terran just kind of stims in and passes by and runs into the main base and just uploads and all his medevacs again. Just kind of dashes on out of there, and as the Protoss, you're just like, well, I guess I just lost a whole lot of probes, or whatever they target down. I guess they could target down pylons or specific tech buildings, right, as well, but I don't really see that all too often. Usually still people going for the probes. I guess if the game develops further, we'll find some sort of nice interruptions. If you find a certain moment where you do stop this certain tech structure from existing, where you can, you know, really cripple your opponent for a little bit. We'll find more and more of those very abusive timings, I suppose, but... Well, at least I hope. I hope we will. It's going to keep the game interesting. Couple of fights going on here. The third base of Zoun does seem to be struggling quite a bit. The probe's being pulled off, but that's less probes than there's marines. Did not go all too swell for those probes. Main base now entirely engulfed with marines and marauders as well. The natural base starting to be pushed in as well. But here's the army of Zoun. It's across the map. It's forcing the Terran buildings to start lifting up. We're just gonna try and evacuate the area. I'm not convinced this is working out for Zoun so far. Did he get that command center? No, he didn't. He is shooting refineries right now. He's losing his nexus. He's trying to deal with the situation in the main base. He's lost another nexus. I think that's it. I think that may be it. Just losing those two nexi. Someone's going to have to push into the main base. And he's going to have to crack it here. Maybe with a couple of good hallucinations, dragging Widow Mines into the army. Maybe. Or, who knows? Kure could just evacuate that entire area. That could happen. Zoun's army's still better. At this moment in time, I would give the, you know, benefit to Zoun's army. But, just bringing everything together might just be a positional problem here for Mr. Zoun. Just have to get everything lobbed in one big group. And now we have this fight here. On the top side, Colossi being microed backwards. Starkus in somewhat tanking this fire. Widow Mines. A bit of friendly fire there as well. This one command center here is not going to be able to continue mining. This is actually kind of a problem. Not entirely sure. I feel like Kure should have just tried to get all this energy into mules as quickly as possible the moment that he could. Never brought these SCVs back to minus either, so this is a scary situation now all of a sudden. 49 army supply versus 30. Phoenix don't really have that much energy anymore though. SCVs are on top of everything as well, getting themselves involved. 3 Colossi though, that is not something you can beat. Zoun takes another victory here and puts himself onto match point. Just trying to tell you guys need to help these pro gamers out, you know, they're putting all this effort into trying to become better at this game. Meanwhile, it's just so I can live the lazy caster life. At least the lazy caster life that I lead, you know. There's some casters out there. Don't misconstrue that as me saying that, you know, casters are lazy. It's just me. Alright, bottom left side. There he is. The blue Terran player. From the Dragon Phoenix Gamers. He's the one and only Kure. He's also in a bit of trouble. Hot waters, I would call them. As he has lost 2 games in a row now against this red Protoss. Top right side, Alpha X's. Zoun. Looking for a third victory here, I imagine. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? It's like, you know what? It's been fun winning here, but I am feeling bad for my opponents. Start off with losing the probe against a couple of SCVs. Doesn't quite happen that way, does it? Reaper is coming in pretty soon. He's just checking again. Yes, so there is a command center being built there. You were not getting shot from the high ground by a marine, so... In a way, that's how you can know, right, as well. They don't set up their marine on the high ground there. It's... wow. Huh. The mind games that could happen. Well, regardless, we're getting a shield battery here. Adept once again as well. So assuming he wants to try and get these 2 adepts, both of them across the field. Seeing that shield battery here as well. And 1 adept staying here, I mean... I may not be a scientist, but I can make some guesstimations sometimes. So yeah, it takes a while for a Reaper to kill a Nexus, of course. It takes quite a sturdy period of time. We'll have to be quite committed to it and quite just overall willing to lose a Nexus as a Protoss, I would say. Oh, not bad. 1 adept gets himself 3 kills right there. 2 Marines and an SCV. Now there's 2 adepts all of a sudden, and there's only... Okay, well there is 6 Marines. That is quite a couple. The more Marines he kills, though, the easier time that little Oracle is going to have. Kinda secretly was wishing he was trying to even kill more of those Marines. I would have liked to have seen 1 or 2 more go down. But you know what? It's what it is. Oracle. Ooh, nice little catch there on the Reaper. Waits for him to try and jump up the high ground. To be fair, the Reaper, that was kind of his last duty at this stage of the game, right? Figure out what tech we're up against. He's like, okay, well, it's an Oracle, guys. Kira's like, alright, you are free to die right now, good sir. Thank you for your service. Kind of a harsh way. StarCraft 2, future humanity. Never really figured out how to make spy planes or... I don't know, drones, satellites. Long distance cameras for, or lenses, I suppose. Would it be lenses? Yeah, it should be lenses then that they would have to discover, right? Long distance one, anyway. For a telescope. Maybe you could just say telescope as well. I'm sure there's more to a telescope than just a big, thick lens thing, right? That is probably the case. That's how you set them up as well. Right. Astronomy class over. We do have quite a couple of Marines once again. Moving their way through, and 3 Oracles here. I think, yeah, Zoun should have enough. As Kira, I would be quite nervous as well, just walking into a status trap at some point in time. Could absolutely ruin you. That's why he's sending... Oh, excuse me. That's why he's sending 1 Marine in front, here and there. Oracles. It might be a bad moment for them to try and fly across this area here. Do manage to escape somewhat unscathed. A little bit of hull damage right there, but 3 SCVs down. Forced a bunch of Marines backwards. Not too shabby, not too shabby. He's got his 3rd base. Cure getting himself a 3rd base as well. More upgrades being unlocked by both players. Blink coming in. Not that much harassment being dished out by Kure once again. Right, he's posturing with these armies, but he's not really engaging. It's somewhat similar to how you would approach a TVZ matchup as well in some cases, right? Or a PVZ. Or a ZVZ in that case. You just want to... Just whenever you're up against a Zerg, posture quite a bit to make them feel uncertain whether they can or cannot drone. Right, and there we have the big old fight. The Marines and Marauders are coming in forwards. Again, another status trap does get dismantled. Eagle Eye Cure sees it all. Stalkers, though, very heavily fortified here in between the 2 gateways, as well as the shield battery just kind of helping out here. quite nicely. The Oracles pick up the final couple of Marines, but don't have any energy left to help with the real evildoers against the Stalkers, which would be the Marauders. Needs to get a bit of extra energy on those Oracles as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, there's no way to really speed that up. Zealots, no charge available yet either against that concussive shell. This is a weird situation where you're like, well, I mean, Zoun has enough. He's got 3 Oracles in the sky. Marauders don't shoot up, but the Oracles are out of energy. The Zealots don't have charge. The concussive shell is available, and man, that was just such a weird moment where Kure just kept on trading well. That was the best opening so far for Kure, I would say. He went across this time and he actually committed to the attack. Didn't just kind of posture there throughout the entire thing. He got a fair bit of the Protoss backbone. Kind of was thinking like, yeah, he did kind of push into the same areas before as well, to be fair. But it feels to me like he got a bit more done this time around, you know? It works out better for him. Good scan on top of those Stalkers, seeing that they are over here, and might be an opportunity for him to go into the main base. Will not go for it though, as the Oracles quite quickly find them out, sniff them out in this area right here. Just reload up those medevacs this time around. It's quite a couple of them. The Blink Stalkers able to jump right on top of them. Now well, this is awkward. Does this work from Kure? It's an interesting maneuver, but it may have worked without all the going back and forth as well, as the army of Zoun here doesn't seem to be all too formidable. No AoE splash damage yet whatsoever. He does still have those 3 Oracles. That's bringing down the Marine count quite quickly, and then there's only Marauders left. So I guess it makes sense to start building a lot of Immortals. But yeah, you need more than 1 Immortal to really sniff out those Marauders here efficiently. I think Kure may have done it, guys. I think Kure may have done it. We have shield battery overcharge. It feels like that's what's going to be coming down to, and that's a no. We have Chrono, we have recall, but we don't have a battery overcharge. Zoun not giving up yet, though. Not quite giving up. Doesn't have the greatest economy. Kure going behind this up to a 4th base already as well, as he is putting in the final nail in the coffin here on Colossus. Trying to be brought onto this planet, but a little bit too little, a little bit too late. Well, you know what? Now that I've changed my pronunciation of Zoun, I secretly hope that it's going to change again at some point in time. Gonna have to stick with this for a while. We'll have to consider possibilities, right? Options. But Zoun. Now the Korean pronunciation of the Z would be a bit more with Zon, right? They kind of cheat the Z with like a D and a J sound, like a G. At least that's what my How to Speak Korean podcast told me at some point in time. Here for the good games, nice, good to see you guys. You joined in the first best of 5 still. We are in the 4th game. Just been going for a very adamant triple Rex play over and over again. We've seen some variation out of Zoun, fighting himself the Stargate, Twilight Council play here and there. Been mixing it up. Previous game didn't go so well for him. He tried to do a bit of an SOS build with multiple Oracles. And yeah, Kure found the damage that he needed. Just kept pushing into it, right? It's like a wound. As soon as Kure kind of wounds you, he doesn't pull out the blade again. He just slowly starts just pushing that wound and you know, If StarCraft 2 units were a sword, he would just kind of keep pushing that sword deeper and deeper into the wound. He and I on the same wavelength. Wonderful. It's like we're talking to one another. Alright, so we have 5 Marines. You are seeing this correctly. Those are 5 Marines. Now approaching the Stalker area here with a good amount of probes there. Still behind it as well. The Stalker actually in a little bit of trouble right now. Did take quite a bit of shield damage. Truly shouldn't take too much damage from the Marines. No, it out micro zip. Finds the safe passage with the shield battery. Now it's just killing Marines. It's 5 Marines. 5 Marines is quite a bit, guys. That is a good amount, especially if you're going with a triple Rex. Life feels cheap. But 5 Marines, like, look at this. This entire squadron, right? If you kill 5, that, like, this is what's left. It's not that much. It's a lot of Marines. Trust me. Whatever Cure wants to be doing next, it's not going to be hitting as hard as it would normally. Like, one way I like to think about those types of scenarios, right, with the 5 Marines. Imagine the entire fight, and then just think about those 5 Marines, right? If those 5 Marines were there just shooting away throughout that entire fight, would it have made a difference? I guess it depends on how quickly Cure pushes, right? If he goes up to like 40-ish army supply, it's gonna feel like less, but still. That's all I'm gonna be talking about after this. Those 5 Marines, just wondering what his plan was. I suppose he wanted to grab some probe kills. Didn't quite work out that way. Did he get a Stalker for his efforts? No, just 1 probe. Just 1 probe. Sad time. Oh. It's an awkward moment in time right there. Someone being like, wait a moment. Why are you here? You have that terror like, oh my god, I'm walking into something, and then your first reaction is to just run away, and then afterwards you see that reaction of Zoun there as well, being like, but wait, what? And then he goes in to check again, being like, was it there? Is it still coming? What's happening with this? Why is it here? What are you up to? Another little batch of units coming along, running down the track. Like a couple of stimmed Marines jumping in on top of a shield battery that's trying to be overcharged right there. Still enough Stalkers to gun down the rest though. Imagine those 5 Marines, right? And then also the rest of this part of the army all being there. Those Stalkers may have gone down. They may have very well been killed off. Now there's a Colossus. So it's going to be a lot harder to take this down. Oh, we need the medevacs. There we go. Alright. Cure's still quite heavily on top of the army supply here. I'm going to try to keep an eye out on those Stalkers on the minimap. Looks like they're in a fairly safe position in did they just recall? They did recall. Okay, he must have seen it with the observer there in the middle of the map. Just kind of made the assumption. You wouldn't really do a recall of an assumption, right? At least I wouldn't. Maybe that's why I'm not as good as Zoun. More units just marching on in, and this is a nice little strategy here. Oh, but that force field doesn't get all of that though. That's a good pickup. Only a single pylon being sniped. It's pretty solid stuff from Zoun. I have to commend him for that. Very solid defense so far as Kjør trying to maneuver himself back across the map here. No longer with an army advantage. Kind of with an army disadvantage, I even want to say, as we have those two Colossi out. How many Vikings so far? 0. We will have... Oh, that would have mine. The other ones probably won't be won't be going off, it seems. Zoun might be able to squeeze his way into the natural. It's not going to go undetected, of course. There is a scan just right on top of him, but... Oh, the Unburrow. Nice little Unburrow. Alright, Zoun once again committing to this. Has to be a bit careful of those Widow Mines. May just want to send some units to this third base as well. I mean, if he gets the third, it's already a game that's pretty much over, isn't it? It's just not been working out for Kjør, guys. It just hasn't really went his favor. He does still have a lot of Marauders. And the Colossi are taken out. Wait a moment. Oh, that was a big hit. Okay, no, never mind. Kjør just holds on. He did lose 35 workers. So that is still a problem, I would say. Then again, Zoun losing his entire army might be a bigger problem. Might be a bigger problem. Disruptors. I like disruptors, but when there's only 50 army supply of the Terran, it just feels like it has too much room to move in whichever way it wants to. Split up quite easily. Unless if you just don't. Oh, that's 2 Marauders down. Reasonable shot. Good force fields once again as well. Zoun really stepping it up right now. Zealots charging in. Is that going to be enough to start picking off more of those Marauders? Yes, it is. Another disruptor. Let's see. There's the shot. Doesn't really do anything. That disruptor was ready for a shot as well. Couldn't quite make that connect. Losing another disruptor right there. Kjør just wants to keep trading positively here. He's able to do that. It's only on a 2 base, of course. This is the 3 base, so the longer this keeps going, the more beneficial it will be for Zoun by quite an extreme margin. And it seems like the tipping point, or a potential tipping point, is no longer going to be achieved here for Kjør. Kjør, are we going to see the GG straight on out of here? Well, it's the last game, right? If he loses this, he's out of the tournament. I imagine he would love to stay in this, but we're not seeing any SCVs. We're not seeing us trying to remake a 3rd base. He has doubled down on this push a couple of times now. Who knows what's going through his mind? Being like, maybe I really shouldn't have tried to make this push happen. Moving back to his own base here, as there is Zealots in his natural base also. Causing quite a stir. Now, most likely, Kjør going to be playing this out, but... I mean, it would be incredibly impressive if he manages to navigate this ship into a direction where it's actually winnable again. As this is not looking all too great. Hope Kjør has another gear for parting tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking promising. Maybe he does just have other strategies, right, that he's preparing right now. Because he is just doing one build over and over and over again, right? That's all he's doing. It's a solid build, don't get me wrong. It's just standard, though, right? It's nothing unique about it. It's nothing really brilliant going on. Now, are we expecting that out of Kjør versus Barting? I don't know either, to be fair. Down go the Medevacs. 3 probes only being killed off by the entire army. Pretty much being sacrificed. Small cluster of units here still remain. I guess the army supply is still similar, actually. There has been a... wait a moment. There is a third base. Did it live all this time? Is that... Did we just never lose it? Oh my. Oh my, it's just been there all this time. It's been somewhere all this time. Interesting. Little mine hit there. Bit of a nuisance. Cure on 33 workers. And he's still making it a game right here. He has lost 37 SCVs. Quite early on as well. Yeah, here he is, fighting strong, looking on par still with his army supply at least. If nothing else, you're gonna have to give him that one, right? He's doing pretty good, making the best out of a pretty bad situation. Three medevacs into the main. Looks like a recall will take place instantaneously. And that causes Cure to reconsider. Checks out the third base over here. No, 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 no. Yeah, that's a no, 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 no. It's not just a no, no. That's a no, 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 no.